We're like a one-stop shop, right? I know that was important to me. The reason I started LVST, right, when we transitioned into like everything with childcare, I could never find a daycare that I was super excited to leave my child at.
Yeah.
Like, I went to every one, I think, at the time when my kids were small, and I would literally leave. I'm like, babe, I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like, I'm not leaving my children here. I don't care if it's affordable. I don't care what it is. And I just never found it. Even the best of the best prestigious places that I would go to and pay an arm and a leg for them, I just never found like I was getting 100% what I wanted. That's where I really wanted to merge like sports and preschool.
Welcome to YMI Talking, a podcast where the guests are so good, you'll wonder why the host is even talking. In each episode, you will hear one of the leaders of the Lehigh Valley's vibrant business hub. They will tell you the keys to their success, the mistakes they've made, and what they have in store for the future. Here is the host of YMI Talking, from YMI Insurance, Jimmy Honachik.
All right, our guest today, I couldn't be more excited about. I have been to her business multiple times, and I've always had a great time, but my kids have had the time of their lives. Jeanie DiFulvio from Lehigh Valley Sports Turf, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful studio, and we're very happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Multiple people have told me I should have you on here, and so I'm finally glad that we made this work.
Oh, that's nice.
Tell us about Lehigh Valley Sports Turf.
All right, Lehigh Valley Sports Turf. We are pretty much the hub for all things children. Anywhere from ages 3 to, I would say, 8 is like kind of our big community.
Yeah.
We have our preschool program. We do open plays, special open plays where characters come, where the parents can just come in and just hang out for like an hour and a half with their kids. We do children's birthday parties where the whole space is just for you and your guest. And we do our youth skill soccer program, and we also have our U6 and U8 soccer teams. And we also do turf rentals if you want to come out and train on our turf with your team or just your kid.
Yeah.
So we do a lot. We do everything for, again, that age group and for our community. It's really important to me as a mom. So that's kind of how it all started.
And it's funny. So I think of it just, I've been there for birthday parties, but it's so much more than that, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, you have soccer teams.
Mm-hmm. So that's actually something new we just started.
Yeah.
So our family's really big into soccer.
Okay.
My husband played his whole entire life. He coached. He's been on different boards of different soccer clubs in the area. So soccer's really big in our children's life. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of how LVST started. It actually wasn't always what it is today, how it started. It was something completely different business plan, but it evolved into what it is today. And we kind of, everything revolves around sports and children.
Mm-hmm. How'd you get started with it? Like, to me, I'm in insurance, right? So I'm scared of everything. Like, launching a business like this terrifies me. So how did you decide, this is what I want to do?
So in 2018 is when we started Lehigh Valley Sports Turf, or essentially the LLC, right? We kind of piloted this business inside of another business inside of the South Mall off Lehigh Street.
Okay.
So we knew someone who was starting up like a gym, pretty big. I think it was like 15,000 square feet, his like facility.
Yeah.
And at that time, my husband was a coach, and there was a big need for turf rental space in the valley. At that time, it was really hard to find. And him being a coach in the winter months, the rainy season, it was essentially super hard to find. So my husband was talking about it, and I was like, hey, let's start our own LLC. Let's pilot it inside of his business. Mm-hmm. We'll give him a percentage of, our square footage, and it'll kind of work out for both. Yeah. Because I know he was struggling just starting and trying to build up his business, and it was really expensive to rent. And that's kind of where it all started. My husband has a lot of connects in the soccer world, so we were easily renting it out. And I was like, wow, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Then...
When are we, by the way, right now?
This is in 2018.
2018, okay.
Yeah. So essentially it was just going to be like a turf rental business. It was kind of more of a passive income. We both had jobs at that time, and we just wanted something more or less passive, kind of ran itself.
Right.
And this is after I started my photo and video business. So for me, I had a little bit of the background, so I wasn't scared to jump into something else. Like I wanted to, like I had like that itch for like business at that point. So we piloted it there. It was super successful. You know, I want to say about a year in, he winded up having to close his doors. So we had to rip out everything, and we put in a good turf. High-end turf isn't cheap, so we had to rip it all out and put it into storage and kind of decide what we wanted to do from there. And then I would say in 2019, we found a space. It was actually the space we're in now. It was the old Morning Call building. So that's where they used to. So when we first saw the space, I mean, it was just newspapers galore. Yeah. It's totally different than how it looks now. And we found this space, and from there, again, our business model was still more or less rentals. We wanted to do a couple other things, but it actually wasn't until the pandemic where it changed our entire business plan and is what we have today.
Walk me through that, because I've got to imagine that was a really hard challenge for you guys. Like, a lot of industries were hit, but I mean, yours is very much, you know, face to face, lots of activity. I
laugh about it now because I feel like, I know a lot of people were hit hard by the pandemic, but I feel like this was our saving grace. And if it wasn't for the pandemic, we would have never, you know, changed our business plan into what it is today. And I don't think we would have been as successful as we are today. So basically, we opened February of 2020 on this big high and excitement, this grand opening. And then March hit, and it was like, the whole world shut down. Yeah. And, you know, after our grand opening, we were starting to book all these birthday parties. Like, that was one of the aspects we were doing. We were still doing kids' birthday parties. I knew that was something I wanted to do just because I wasn't happy with any of the places in the Valley to bring my own children.
Right. Yeah.
And it was just like everything was shut down. So it was shocking, but I'm always up for a challenge. Right. So for me, failure wasn't an option. Like, it just wasn't. We actually had 2 silent partners at the time. And I just didn't want to let anyone down. So I kind of went full force, like, what can we do? So that's when we got, you know, our childcare license, and we started this virtual learning program. There were so many people in need, a lot of teachers especially, that still had to teach, but they still had their own kids at home. Right. So now we had the ability to have the kids in our facility, have our own teachers there, and they were actually leading these virtual learning programs with their own children and their teachers. Yeah. So we became popular off of that, and then from there we started our preschool program, our preschool pre-K program, which we call pre-sport, because it kind of combines sports and education equally. Yeah. And, you know, kind of from there, it just kind of took off with everything, the soccer and the birthdays, and just everyone just loved like our space and how clean it was and our staff, and it just skyrocketed from there. So we were really fortunate that what could have been a disaster actually really catapulted us into success. Yeah. Yeah.
And you just hit on something that I wanted to bring up, which is your staff. You guys, when I've been there, they're the friendliest people and like so willing to help. Like, how do you go about, you know, sourcing the right talent and making sure it kind of fits the LVST mold?
Yeah. So we are very fortunate. I know in the beginning, I handpicked every person in that place because, again, my children were attending there, and I was a very particular person, and, you know, I needed to make sure we were hitting everything, especially if I was leaving my kids there all day too. So I think that was very important. You know, I think for me, in every aspect of when I was working, like after college or during college, I never really had that mentor or leadership where I can really say like, wow, I love my job. I love working for so-and-so. And I knew for me, it was really important to be that for my staff. So I feel like for all my employees, there's a balance, right? You need to be their boss, but I feel like it's also important to be a friend and be able to listen. And I feel like all the girls, a lot of them, we have about 25 employees at LVST, about 4 of which are full. All the rest are part-timers. And, you know, a lot of the younger staff, like they are like my children, like they've came to me, they've cried to me, I've hugged them, I consoled them. You know, I just have that connection with them. I want to be a good role model. I have 2 daughters, you know, we're primarily female staff there. So I mean, they all come from great families. They come from youth sports. And I think we all have that same goal in mind, which is the kids and being successful. And I think once you get that all together, I mean, you just continue, they stay. I mean, a lot of the girls there have been there since we opened.
Yeah. What's interesting is you are such a leader, let's say there, like you really are. And you sound like someone who's sort of blazed their own path, whether it was, the photo and video or now with this business. But it's interesting you say like there wasn't a role model or a mentor for you. So where do you feel like that comes from, that leadership ability comes from?
Well, I feel like in the professional world, there wasn't. Personally, I had my older brother, Rich, and there's also my husband, Eric. They have been like a really guiding force throughout. I think I've been with my husband for 20 years.
Yeah.
My brother's been there my entire life, and I looked up to him for everything. I'm the younger sister. I wanted to do everything that he wanted to do. So having those two like strong-minded male figures in my life, I always went to them for everything.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this for school. I want to do this for business. And they were always like on my side. Like, you can do this. Like, so I think for me professionally, maybe I never had that. Maybe one or two people in the professional field, like I was like, wow, they're great. And I want to be like that.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I never really had that. I just felt like you were never appreciated. And I know for me, I wanted that boost of being appreciated, especially when you're working really hard.
Yeah.
So I think that's just really important within your employees and making sure they're recognized for like their achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Let's talk about Jeanie. Where do you come from? Like, how do you get to Lehigh Valley Sports Turf? So we got that part, but like, how did we get there?
Yeah. So it was a long road. So originally I'm from Queens, New York.
Okay.
I lived there for, since I was born, grew up in Queens and Manhattan. Like, that was kind of where I was raised. So definitely different from the Lehigh Valley. When we were about 20, 21, my husband's family at the time wanted to sell their homes and they wanted to move out to Pennsylvania. And they were like, Eric, you can come with or you can stay here. And I was kind of with him for years at that point. So I was kind of like, we should go. Like, we both, I think, were done with our area and we wanted more. We wanted to finish school, and a lot of our friends and stuff at that time, they were just not where we were. So I think getting away was something we both really wanted. And when we had the opportunity, we ran with it and we were like, we're with you. And we moved out here with his parents. And it's funny because it's two different worlds. Like, when I was moving out here, I wasn't very familiar with Pennsylvania at the time. Like, I grew up in New York, so it's different world out there. And I just remember like all my friends being like, you're going to live with like cows and chickens? Like, I don't understand. And I'm like, I don't know. But then when we moved here, I'm like, this is different. This isn't what I thought.
Yeah.
So like the Lehigh Valley was not what it is now. Like in 2006, like the casino didn't exist then. Like it was definitely different. But working in and out of Easton kind of felt a lot like New York a little bit to me, like a kind of a smaller city. So yeah, that's kind of where we came from. And then fast forward to school, like I went to DeSales. I actually went for media studies, TV, film.
Oh, wow.
I did that for a little bit. And then I just...
We're media study buddies, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I did, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And now I'm in insurance. So you never know where life's going to take you.
Yeah, you never know. But I think having the background is amazing because I still love filming and photographing my own stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love having that background just with websites and just social media and everything. So I love that field and I did it for a little bit. But I just knew for me, I needed to work for myself.
Yeah.
And that's where my first business started, and then the opportunity with the turf. And then we actually own another business called Forward Thinking Technology Solutions that my husband primarily runs. But we started all of those, and it's been great. I think, once you start business, it's really hard to go backwards. And people always say, how do you own your business? Like, I always feel like when I started my own business, there was like a stigma around it, right?
Right.
I always felt like, oh, how's business going? And it was like, what do you want me to say? Like, it sucks? No, it's like, it's doing great. Like, I was fortunate. Like, when I started my photo and video business, it was successful. I was shooting 50 weddings a year.
Wow.
Like, I was working 70 hours a day doing everything, wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
But I think that pushed me, especially when you have a small child at the time, which I did. I had a 2-year-old getting married and starting my own business. It was a big leap, but I don't think I would have it any other way. Like, I'm an overachiever. I'm a competitor. Like, failure is not an option for me. I think that's why all my businesses have been successful. My husband and I, there's no other option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys balance it? Because you're right. Eric has a successful business. You have a successful business. You have 2 kids. Like, how do you guys find the time to be able to make it all happen?
So that's a great question. So being a mom, right, and a business owner, and just being a control freak as I am, which, sometimes doesn't play in your favor. It took me a while to actually like relinquish jobs and just ask for help, because I just wanted to do it all. I felt like it was only me that would get the job done right and like the way it should be done. But when you can finally let go, I think that's a huge thing in business. You have to find the right people and you have to let them succeed in what they do.
Yeah.
And I think once I started utilizing that tool within the businesses and within my home life, whether it just be like having someone help cleaning or prepping food or something. Because, I mean, I don't know for men, but I know for women, it's really hard sometimes to ask for help. You just want to do it all. And then you're angry all the time. And it's like, who wants to be angry all the time because you're wearing all the hats? Yeah. So, asking for help, once you grow and you're able to find other people to help, I think that's really important. And I think that's, where our success is today. I know I could not do what I was doing 4 years ago today. Right. Yeah, absolutely not.
And it's taken me some time to figure that out too. Like, I know how I do it and I do it the right way and this is how I want it done. But I can't do that for every one of our clients, right? Like, you have to rely on your staff and lean on your staff and give them the tools to succeed. Yeah. And I think it goes back to, finding the right people. And it sounds like you guys have done a great job of that. Yeah. So what do you feel like is next for you? Are you content where you are? Do you think there's another chapter coming? You don't strike me as the kind of person who's like, yeah, no, I did it. I'm good here.
No, I'm never content. Actually, my husband tells me that all the time. He's like, you're never satisfied ever. I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like there's always more out there. Like, there's so much more I want to do. Like, I think as you get older too, you want to do more. Like, I don't want to leave this world with not doing more, whether it be giving back in some type of way or helping or starting another business, or maybe one day someone would buy and take over and, that's their journey and their story. Yeah. So for me, no, it's there's always something. Mm-hmm. We are thinking about multiple locations for LVST and rebranding. Right. So we've got a lot of customers that are like, can you please open this up in our area? We have nothing like this in our area. So that's been what I've been on the hunt for about the last year, trying to make that. But yeah, there's always something.
And you guys are in Macungie right now, right? Yep. And how has how's that location been for you?
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. We have a great location, hands down. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the Lehigh Valley in general. So I kind of interrupted your story. You were talking about, you moved from Queens to here. How have you found the Valley? It sounds like you've embraced it and really kind of made it your own at this point.
How have I found it?
Yeah. How do you enjoy the Valley? Like, talk to me a little bit about the Lehigh Valley.
Oh, so I love the Valley. Like I said, I don't like leaving the Valley. I don't like going back to New York. Like, I think there's something about the Valley. When I moved here in 2006, coming from New York, I remember going to the supermarket. It's just a little fun story. Yeah. I think it was Weiss Supermarket. It was right near our house. And I remember checking out, and this guy or the cashier was like, can I help you to the car with your grocery bags?
That doesn't happen anymore.
And I was so caught off guard. And I was like, no, I can do it. Because I was just like, this is wild. Like, people are so friendly here. New York is a whole different breed, right? It's like a love-hate, like, anger relationship. People understand that in New York, but no one's going to ask you for help to the car. I mean, you'll be lucky if you get a door held open for you. But so I love that right away. I just felt like there was like this loving, caring community in the Valley, like, that you don't really get. It's kind of almost like, I don't know if this makes sense, but it's like where like Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton has come today. It's kind of almost like a big city, but it's like that small city vibe that I really love. You know, in New York, you have like the 5 boroughs. I don't even think I've been to all 5, and I lived there for 21 years. You know what I mean? But I can go around, you know, Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, like all the time, and different restaurants and meet different people. Man, I know so many people, and it's just amazing. And I really, truly love the Valley. It's a great place to live.
Yeah, I love that about it too. Did you guys start in Easton? Did you make, I feel like I heard that. Did you start in Easton and then
No, we actually came right to Allentown, to like this Orafield area, South Whitehall Township. But I used to work in hospitality when I was in college. So I used to work at a lot of high-end restaurants, one of which was like Valenza years and years ago that was in the Circle. So I used to commute there a lot back and forth, like the 25 minutes. So, yeah.
And do you feel like that background, you know, kind of gave you the customer experience that you needed?
Oh, for sure. I think I was always like a people person. I was never the person that can sit behind a desk. I needed to be doing multiple things all the time. Like even when I graduated or intern and I was an editor and I just sat behind the computer all day long, it wasn't for me. It didn't last long. Yeah. You know? So I like wearing multiple hats all the time.
And with your current job, like LVST, what hats are you wearing? Are you wearing truly all of them still, or have you been able to kind of hand off some of it? I
have been able to hand off. So the beginning, I was wearing all of them. I would say today I am just owner. Owner, and I guide my staff, but we have our childcare director, Danielle. She runs all of our childcare programs, our summer camp, our preschool. We have Jacqueline Coos, who's in the office right now.
What's up, Jacqueline?
She's our program marketing director, so she runs and organizes all of our programs, which is a lot. It's a daunting task. Like, you know, you need someone to do all that. You can't do it all. And do it right. You need to have help and the right professionals in place, and we do. And then we have our teachers, and, you know, they're amazing. I mean, people don't understand, for the most part, childcare. Like, I'm not saying we are a daycare by any means. You know, we have a childcare license. We have our preschool program. We have our summer camp program. But children, to be in that business, you really have to have a huge heart. You have to be patient. You have to be loving. You have to be caring. And I feel like even a mom myself, when I was a working mom and I had to take my children to daycare, I didn't appreciate it as much as now owning a place and seeing it day in and day out. And, you always get people like, daycare is too expensive, or this or that. But it's like, they don't get enough in my eyes. Like, they don't.
It's insane.
It is. It's insane because they do so much. And I see it with my own 2 eyes every day. Just a hug, just, you know, a fall boo-boo, you know, a hug makes it better. Like, you know, these teachers are with them every day, and you have to really appreciate them. I know my kids in school, I give to their teachers as much as I can. And it's hard. It's not an easy profession, and we need that. We need them in these children's lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
About, you know, running the daycare and the preschool, what separates you guys? Do you know, interact with the sports side and give that to the kids? Like, what makes you guys unique there?
I think, like I said, we're like a one-stop shop, right? I know that was important to me. I could never, the reason I started LVST, right, when we transitioned into like everything with childcare, I could never find a place, a daycare that I was super excited to leave my child at. Like, I went to every one, I think, at the time when my kids were small, and I would literally leave. I'm like, babe, I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like, I'm not leaving my children here. I don't care if it's affordable. I don't care what it is. And I just never found it. Even the best of the best prestigious places that I would go to and pay an arm and a leg for them, I just never found like I was getting 100% what I wanted. That's where I really wanted to merge like sports and preschool. I felt like a lot of the preschools, it's either daycare or you're going to preschool where you're leaving your kid 2 hours a day. It's not enough time to make a Starbucks run and come back and you have to pick up your kid. Like, I can't get any work done. And being a working professional, it was really important to me to be able to have options, right? So that's what I love about LVST. We kind of just merged everything. So it's like, you can come for half a day for our preschool. You can come for a full day. You can pick your days, 1 to 5 days. They're also getting sports involved. It just comes. It's called Sport of the Month. So every month they learn a sport, whether it be soccer, volleyball, golf. I mean, they're getting exposure to all of these every single day. We have our yoga teacher, Jenna. She's amazing. She comes in and does like mindfulness with them. The kids love her every Tuesday. Tuesdays book out the quickest because they know she will be there.
Wow.
She's amazing. She's been with us for the last 3 or 4 years. So, and then it's like, if you want to celebrate your child's birthday, they're familiar with the space. They're like, this is our school. Like, we love this. And then it's like, you have the whole space to yourself. I cringe sometimes going to my kids' birthday parties because there's just so many people around, or, you know, there's strangers mixed in. You can't find your kid like here. It's just like, you come in, it's your friends and family, the people, you know, it's not overly crowded. You can have your guests, you have your time slot, you leave, we help you with everything. Yeah. And then it's like, you know, when your children are used to the space, and then it's like they want to get involved in soccer, well, we can take care of that too. Mm-hmm. And then they start from 3 up. And then if you graduate from that, you go to our teams, you get that exposure, and then we can kind of guide you if you want to go into travel or rec or whatever that case may be. Yeah. So I just think it's a lot of options. And when parents are used to the facility and used to the employees, it just makes it a lot easier, and it's not scary, right? Yeah. It's scary. Like, I am fortunate my husband knows all about soccer and who to talk to, but not every parent has that exposure, right? If I was on my own, I wouldn't know where to look. I would just be like, okay, where's like soccer today? Good soccer. Yeah. Google, help me. So, yeah.
But I think that's really important. I know when we were looking at preschools and early education, like, play is such an important part, and the research shows that, you know, it's great for development, and it's just natural for you guys. Like, that's a whole part of it, right? Yeah. So I think you guys really have, you know, something unique there that helps out. How does it work when, you know, there's preschool going on? Can you have a birthday party at the same time? Is there enough space there, or no?
No. So preschool is Monday through Fridays. Okay. 9 to 1 or 9 to 3. Yeah. And then we only do birthday parties on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Okay. Typically no one celebrates their birthday during the week. Yeah. We just always book out Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And that's when we do our soccer programs, our birthday parties, and any type of open place we have. So primarily during the week, it's just preschool and then summer camp. And then usually winter hours after preschool will go right into the rentals.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, cool. I hate this. I know that we're running up on time. I got a couple things still, though, before we wrap up. So our sponsor is Hocus Pocus Cleaning Services.
I know Rosie.
Do you?
I do.
She's the best.
Yeah.
And Hocus Pocus is as well. And they do this witching hour where they come in and they'll like reorganize your closet or something. And it's basically this magical experience. And so I ask everyone who comes on, if you could have any magical ability, what would it be?
Ooh. And magical. Can I duplicate myself into multiple people?
Yes.
I would choose that.
That would be awesome. So all of those hats are now on one person, which is perfect.
Or time travel. Time travel is a good one.
That is, yeah.
I would love to see younger Jeanie and just kind of be like, listen to me now.
Younger Jeanie would be shocked to see me right now.
Would he?
Oh, yeah. The same thing, you know.
I think so.
Media production. We was going a different route.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's good. And Rose and the team there, it's incredible what they do. They clean awesome for us. We love it.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, is there anything that we haven't hit that you think we should hit? Anything anyone should know about Jeanie or about LVST?
Whew.
That's a big loaded question.
It really is.
I jumped on you there.
Got me a little nervous. Anything... I'm drawing a blank right now.
That's fine.
I'm drawing a blank. I mean, when it comes to LVST, I can talk all day about it because I love it so much, and I'm just so passionate about what we do there. I mean, we're the only one that is doing what we are doing. I mean, bar none. I mean, no one's incorporating all the things that we are. I mean, there's a couple copycats, but they're still not doing what we're doing with the whole preschool and the sports. It's either one or the other. So I just think if people have the chance to come check us out, and if they're on the search, because I know we do still get a lot of people like, we didn't know this existed, this is amazing, you should totally come check us out, because I think we do it all and we do it all right, and their kids would just love it.
And I can attest to that. Their kids will love it. Mine certainly have. One thing, where do you get new people from? Is it word of mouth? Is it Facebook? Like, where do you
I think a lot of it is word of mouth, and I always say, like, that's the best marketing you can have. Like, it is, right? If you ask, you know, your friend Joe, like, do you know a tile guy? Do you know, like, a guy that mows? You're going to 95% go with their recommendation because they use them already. Yeah. So I think, you know, we just get such great feedback from all the parents that come into our facility. I think that's probably one of our number one recommendations. We are on social media. We just started TikTok, so check that out. We're trying to get more followers on that. But we're on Instagram, Facebook. That's really all the marketing we do.
Yeah. I was saying to Jacqueline how nice it is that you guys have, fun content that you can post. Insurance doesn't work well on social media, but your content's great. Like, it is really good. And if people aren't following you, where can they follow you?
Lehigh Valley Sports Turf. If you go to our Facebook page, or if you just Google us, it'll literally bring you to everything. Yeah.
And marketing and branding must be a big part, because I'm looking at these colors here, like your colors and your fonts. I'm guessing you spent time figuring those out, because they really pop. They really kind of set the mood. Yeah,
I think a lot of it had to do with growing up in Queens and having that like urban environment.
Yeah.
So I just wanted it to be fun and kid-like. And just a welcoming place for like the kids, like inspirational. We have like a lot of inspirational like quotes on the wall, just to like strive to be the best you can be, Mm-hmm. It's really important for kids.
That makes me think, if you guys had a motto, like what would the motto of LVST be?
The motto of LVST? Wow. You're really putting me on the spot here. But, just be who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. I mean, it's what I tell my own kids, right? Just do what you think is right. Be the best you can be at everything you strive to do, and you won't have any regrets. Be a good person, right?
Yeah.
And that's really all you can do. And I listen to myself in my own adulthood and do that too, because everyone likes to, go to bed at night and be able to close their eyes and sleep well. And I think if you're just an overall good person, good things will come your way for sure.
I love that. And that's how we're going to close it. Jeanie, this has been incredible. Lehigh Valley Sports Turf is one of a kind in the area, and they do great things. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having us. It was wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the YMI Talking podcast. If you enjoyed this and want to hear more content from amazing personalities in the Valley, please subscribe, leave a rating, and drop us a quick review.